Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ, and I'm the host of Great Talking Entertainment official channel. And this is my continuation for the spoiler review of Netflix series Bet. This is episode 9 spoiler review. If you have not seen this show yet, guys, please pause this. But before you go, could you please hit the thumbs up button, because this would help this YouTube channel out very much. Go watch it. Season 1, and then let me know what you think about this episode and season 1 of Bet in the comments below. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Now, let's get into it. This episode starts off with Ryan and Yumiko driving fast and being chased and shot at as they were just driving away. But luckily, it was just Ryan daydreaming. But we see Michael telling Ryan everything what's been going on that Yumiko and Michael have been doing throughout this whole season, and just giving him updates, explaining about like Michael helping her set up a bomb and explaining to Ryan why he didn't make the bomb the way she wanted to, and explaining why like she's got to get out of St. Dominic's school board retreat, as we know that Michael's dad will be there, and Michael explains to Ryan that his dad is a legit gangster, and so this is very important. So Kira and Riri's father in this episode, so basically through this, him and all these parents, they do this thing that is pretty normal in anime shows, where the parents hit the child at any age, and they just like bitch slap them. There's a little bit of that going on, and they did it in the most animated way, of course. So that was its anime moment, and that's how Kira and Riri's dad, treats Kira more like that. But he does introduce himself to Yumiko, and giving her some advice as he makes his presence known, and he's obviously the person who's in charge, right? He's the powerful one, right? And he's a powerful, like, Russian. He's Russian. So Yumiko finally meets Michael's dad, Gabriel, and throughout this whole episode, she created this poison, right? And in the beginning of like the intro, before the introduction to the way every show starts, it had like that black and white, and it was playing Megan Thee Stallion's song. I forget the name of it, but it played that song, and again I forget the name of it, but it's a Megan Thee Stallion song, which I do like it. And they had her in the black and white, but every time, whatever makeup she was wearing or lipstick, the color would show in the black and white. And so we know that she created this poison. She pours it in the type of drink that Gabriel wants. And we see throughout this episode she attempts to try to give him that, but something always distracts her. It's either because like it's Ryan, Michael, or Mary, who we see in this episode is trying to impress and get in good connections with Kira and Riri's father, but she's getting a little bit drunk. So that's one way Yumiko gets distracted, because she's like, whoa, I gotta protect my friend. She's having a little bit too much to drink, which it's crazy, right? And then there's Michael, who, she tells on him and he gets put in a room. But luckily, he pulls the strings and he gets out of it thanks to story, right? And so we see a lot of pretty much things that distract her. Even Riri is distracting Yumiko because Yumiko is looking kind of odd because she's not socializing or networking to further her career after school, quote unquote, right? So it seems very suspicious, but this is Yumiko from now just getting ready to crash out. Like she's going to do the thing, right? Like it's going down. She's ready. But before all that, again, Gabrielle's getting distracted too because they have a game. And all the house pets have to play this game. Now, Ryan's not a house pet, but he snuck in and dressed up as one. And there's this game pretty much where they have a wad of cash, which is nice, and they have a headless pig, well, more of a Borg, because it has all hair, and it has the money. And you just fight your coworkers and grab the money. But after you grab the money, you better run because they're gonna beat you up. And now you're the pig or you're the Borg. And shockingly, Gabriel's really impressed. Now, in this episode as well, Gabriel and Michael have that conversation, and Michael's trying to tell his dad what Yumiko's going to do, but he won't tell. But we learn that, again, this is Michael's definitely becoming a villain because his father just shits on him. Disappointment. Why are you doing this? I heard, in prison that you refused to gamble. Like, what the hell? Like, this is the whole point he sent you that. And again, his dad was more upset that Michael is not living up to his potential. He doesn't care that he's in danger. And, and he's upset that his son has tarnished the family reputation. And again, again, we're seeing the villain Michael become the villain. And then Kira and Riri's father gives a speech, and what's really interesting is their father brings up Yumiko's parents, and they pretty much started this whole Bitcoin thing. And it's really interesting because Kira realizes, like, wait, these are Yumiko's parents. Now she's suspicious. Now she's catching on what's going on, and she wants to figure out what's going to happen. So, again, we're getting closer, and what's really interesting, too, in this speech is Kira is so upset that the father has given Riri the job position of the school board of director to her, and Kira is so devastated and upset. But it was crazy because, again, this is the anime moment, but the father slapped the shit out of Kira. And then later in this episode, Kira and Yumiko have this scene where Kira confronts her about it because the drink was stolen, and it was obviously Kira. And I think what we learned here at this point is that Kira, at this moment, I felt like if she ratted out Yumiko, this can get her back. But Yumiko drinks the alcohol with the poison and then kisses Kira and spits some of the poison in there, and now they're both poisoned. And that's how they left this episode ended. I like this episode. Let me tell you what I like about this episode. I like this episode I thought this is the build up to Yumiko just crashing out, because like this is the moment where she thinks Gabriel killed her parents, and there's probably a lot more people involved than she realizes. But I think she realized that too after Kira and Riri's father gave that speech. And it's obviously, this is kind of like a Bitcoin, about Bitcoins. Like, they either invented Bitcoin or they found a really good algorithm or system way to run it, right, and give people back the power. But they kind of just say, well, we had to do what we had to do because they were going to ruin it. And I think this is like the idea of like, man, like everybody's involved, right? So again, this is the build up for Yumiko to crash out because of these reasons. And I liked it. I liked how they build it up. I like how, if when you're watching this, you know, I felt the excitement to see it happen. I felt the entrance to see the next episode, which is the season finale, episode 10. And maybe I couldn't wait to see what happened next, obviously, right? And then so they have that build up pretty well down packed, I thought. And then I also just I like the game that they played because, you know, they showed Ryan being a hero, right? Like he's not playing around. Like he was gonna get it, and he's here to protect Yumiko. It looks like. I think he cares about Yumiko and protecting her. So he's the hero, and I like that because it shows like this moment kicked in some adrenaline. You know, this is like the moment, him just playing this game. You know, a lot of the parents were impressed. Gabriel was impressed, Michael's father. So to me, that tells me like, I just like the way they set him up to have this adrenaline and to be heroic and be this badass tough guy that maybe people didn't see. And yeah, I thought it was funny that finally one of the classmates say, "Oh wait, that's Ryan," but never said, "Wait, what's he doing here?" He just accepted the fact that Ryan was there. So it was that, but I thought this really showcased who Ryan's going to be, and it really showcased who Michael's going to be. So you have a hero and the villain, and it doesn't mean Yumiko's going to be the damsel in distress. She might be in certain episodes, and probably in like season 2, probably. But I really like that he's here just for Yumiko. And the difference between Michael and Yumiko is Michael's trying to change Yumiko, and Ryan's just trying to be a part of Yumiko's life. And so that's the difference. And, you know, as soon as things go crash out for Yumiko, I think it's going to be the tipping point, you know, for Yumiko in episode 10. I believe that's when it's really going to start. But boy, the way they set this up, I thought this was neat. And, you know, to see Mary, I thought, okay, she's trying to become a lot bigger than Kira. You know, this to me, this episode reveals that Mary wants to be like Kira, but more and better. And I think that, you know, I think the relationship between Mary and Riri is going to blossom soon. I don't know if they'll do it in episode 10, but maybe in a season 2, if they do one. But I think, to me, Mary is showing us, the audience, again, that she wants to be more than what Kira could ever be. And from what we see, we know the father is not impressed with Kira. So there's a chance. And so now there's this idea of like a new regime that could happen, a new leader that nobody would expect to be the new leader of this school, right? Of the school year, right? In this elite group of gamblers, right? So I think that's the idea with Mary, right? But she was just drinking too much. But I think that there's still more time to, you know, get that all cleared out. But it's really interesting that we're kind of seeing a little bit more now of what path these characters are going to go down. there seems like there's going to be more to it and later on in the future if they ever do another season, who knows. But this was a good setup episode for, to end it all, at least this season of this whole plot. And, is Yumiko going to get her revenge? Who knows? But I really like how they set it up. I like how they set Mary up and where I can kind of see where they're kind of going with her. And I get that, and I'm okay with that. I like that now we're getting closer to Michael becoming more corrupted. And I think that's the most unique thing to see so far to me out of that. Like, I like seeing Ryan as the hero, but Michael's more interesting because I just can tell that he's going to become the bad guy. And I think he's going to become more obsessed with Yumiko. And so he's going to do more damage than you could ever imagine. Because it seems like Yumiko is done with Michael and the friendship's over. And I think Michael's going to get jealous of Ryan even more because it seems like their relationship is getting better. Because they both, the last episode, one of the episodes, I would say, I think it was episode 8 or 7, where Yumiko was, no, it had to be 8. It was episode 8, where, she only had midnight to get out of being a pet and get the score up, right? And Ryan was the only one between Michael and Ryan. Ryan was the only one who was trying to help her, even paid her back, while Michael was trying to sabotage her, because he's trying to change her, I think. So that's the dynamic duel. But it's really, now everything's kind of folding out, and I like that because this is the right type of episode. Since this is this is the episode before the last episode for season 1, so this is a real good way to lay out the field of what's going to happen next, because they're still in the house, the party's still not over yet, so this is going to be a really odd thing but an interesting thing to see. So again, really good episode. I love the dynamic. I love the watching Yumiko try her best. She's not perfect at assassinating somebody. She's not perfect at getting revenge, but look how far she came. Can she succeed? Who knows? But she's got poison now, and now Kira has poison. So obviously, I think it's pretty obvious. I think they're gonna play some type of game, because I can't imagine Yumiko not making a antidote for this. So it's gonna be interesting. So really good episode. But if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm definitely gonna give this an 8. Really good, really solid plot for this particular episode. And I really just enjoyed it so far, and I really like this series. It was really, for a show that's being taking inspiration from the anime shows, I think Netflix and the showrunners and the director and / producers are doing really well. And I think the whole cast of actors and actresses really, really are doing a really excellent job to the characters that they're playing. And I think, they do their best to represent the anime version of that character and really show it in a live action / adaptation. And I'm really enjoying this. So to me, it's really, really not a bad season at all. I think it's a really excellent show, and I'm loving it. So that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.